Hello and welcome to another weekly update, and what a week it's been. It's been a really interesting one. So I think generally in the kind of world of Microsoft, of development around Teams and Skype for Business, and generally anything Microsoft related, I mean, Microsoft Ignite is now a month away, so we're seeing a kind of slowdown of new features coming out of news and announcements, because that kind of stuff naturally kind of coalesces around Ignite, because it's good for those announcements to come out then and stuff like that. So we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown in the general news, but personally, I've had a blast this week. It's been really good. So we've had a work experience student in our development office for the last 3 days, and we've had a blast. We've been building a bot. We've been using the bot framework. We've been using Lewis. So our bot has got AI, it's got smarts, and I've been really impressed by by what's been achieved in the last couple of days. Not too many spoilers, because I'm going to do a separate video that we'll be doing it through the Modality Systems YouTube channel. So look out for that. But yeah, it's been a really fun week. Really excited. I think if the future of development is anything like what I've seen last week, I think we're in very good hands. It's left me pretty tired, I'll be honest. Definitely I need to kind of recharge the batteries over this weekend, and luckily in the UK it's a long one, so we get Monday off as well, so I'm going to make the most of that. But yeah, no, we had a blast, and it's really cool to see young people getting hold of this stuff and making some cool things with the bot framework and with AI as well, and Microsoft's cognitive services as well. All right, so 3 things to talk about this week. I've actually delivered on the thing I said I would do last week, which is make a note in your diary, because that doesn't happen very often. I said last week I was going to do 2 blog posts, and I did both of those blog posts, and I mentioned another one. So first things first. I am speaking at Evolve in the UK on September the 10th. So Evolve is it's a UC conference. It's an Office 365 and Azure conference. It's held in Birmingham. It's been going for a number of years now. I've spoken at it a couple of times before. It's always a really good conference. It's run by techies for techies. It's not heavy into the sales and marketing stuff. It's deep technical content. It's free to attend as well, so it's got all these things going for it. It's a one-day conference, so you haven't got to wangle loads of expenses out your boss. It's one day. It's in Birmingham, and it's going to be really good. I'm going to be talking about building Microsoft Teams applications. So last year I built a Teams application from scratch during the session. This year I'm going to talk generally about the whole process of building Teams apps. So from design to submission, there's a whole workflow to go through now if you want to build a Teams app. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. So that is happening September the 10th. Like I say, it's a free event. It's a free one-day conference, but you do need to register. So I'll put a link in the notes. It's important that you get registered for that and do so before the places fill up, and then you're not able to. All right, so 2 other blog posts I did this week. The first was around the Microsoft Ignite session catalog, and I wanted to go into some detail about some of the previous blog posts I'd done visualizing that data in Power BI. So if you listened to last week's update, I talked about this. I took some of the Ignite data and I visualized it in Power BI. It's kind of cool to segment the data by different things, by the different tracks, by the different formats, and really get a feel for kind of what Ignite's going to look like. And I promised a blog post about how I did that. And that's what this blog post is. It goes into the deep technical detail about the API that underlies the session catalog that I found, how you can call it, how the ways you call it, the methods and the URIs to call it, what the JSON response data looks like, and how you can feed all of that into Power BI and come out the other end with a great big table of data that you can then do your visualizations against. So if you want to build up your own visuals in Power BI based on the data that is in the Ignite session catalog, then go and look at this blog post because it tells you exactly how to do it. And then the other blog post I did was it's aimed at people who are not going to Ignite, which I know sounds kind of crazy because all the buzz at the moment is about Ignite and people, going to Ignite, speaking Ignite, attending Ignite, and there's a bunch of blog posts, how to get the most out of your time at Ignite. And this is a blog post for people who are not going to Ignite. So it's how to get the most out of Ignite even though you're not going. There is there's a number of things that we know are going to happen, and it's absolutely possible for you to get loads and loads out of Ignite even if you're not attending. The trick to doing that is to prepare and to plan, to be aware of what's coming, and to make the time to consume it. And there's good times to do that in real time along with everyone else, and there's good times to do that asynchronously offline away from other people. So I've put together my top 5 tips for not attending Ignite. So if that's you, if you are not going to be at Ignite this year, then have a look at this blog post because it hopefully has some tips in it for getting the most out of Ignite even though you're not going to be there. All right, so those were the kind of 3 things I wanted to talk about this week. Really, remember Evolve Conference coming up September the 10th. Ignite Session Catalog, you can, there's an API, you can do your own visualizations, you have access to that to pull the data. And then if you're not going to be attending Ignite, have a look at my top 5 tips for how to get the best out of your Ignite not being there experience. Okay, brilliant. Have a great rest of the weekend. Have a brilliant week next week, and I will talk to you again in 7 days' time.